Hi Gemini, welcome to How Love Tarot. This is a general reading. Spirit, may please have the present position for Gemini. I've already pulled your oracle cards. Gemini, which is sitting right here. May I please have the strength for Gemini. May I please have the strength for Gemini? Thank you. May I please have the challenge? Thank you. May I please have the outcome? What's good in the outcome for Gemini? What will motivate them, inspire them, help them to make the decisions they need to make? Spirit, may I please have the outcome for Gemini? What's good in the outcome? Thank you. What else, Spirit? What's good in the outcome for Gemini? What's good in the outcome? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, Gemini. What we have here is in your oracle, this is a general reading if I haven't said it before. I'm looking at 4 different areas of your life, the present position to validate that this is your reading. I'm going to look at the strength that's in your energy, challenge, what you don't see coming up, and then the possible outcome, which is what will help motivate you, inspire you, and help you to make the decisions that you need to make. Now, what we have here in the oracle is number 42, organization. So what we have is purpose, planning, efficiency, now come to me so easily. So, and then we have the number 6, right? So we have looking at some historical things that are challenges in your way. Their organization is coming up in your present energy, but I feel a sense of disorganization. So it could feel like partly what's going on, let's take a look at the present position, is that planning and efficiency. And this is showing the home state, right? So this is showing your life around you. There's a need of grounding here. There's a need of reaching out to aspects of yourself that you can focus on, that you're very, very good at, while you start to focus on some, it's kind of deal in the background with things that are a little bit more challenging. Here we have the 3 of Pentacles in the upright position. We have the Hierophant in the upright position, and we have the 4 of Wands in the upright position. Spirit, bring it forward. What's going on in the present position with Gemini? So in the 3 of Pentacles, we have teamwork, collaboration, learning, implementation, building something. We have the Hierophant, institutions, tradition, religion, society and its rules, social approval, conformity, forgiveness, bonded, mercy, wisdom and trust. And then we have the 4 of Wands, which is celebration, joy, harmony, marriage, home, community, homecoming. Now, I feel very strongly, Gemini, that you know, this is where your challenge is in your present position. We've got here the card that represents, to me, relationship, 3 of Pentacles. What we have is the need for an outside force to perhaps come in and tighten the level of teamwork, collaboration, and building something stronger than what you already have. It feels like here we have this this fragile situation going on in your life that throws everything out of balance, right? Because the Three of Pentacles, while if you look at certain ways of looking at the Three of Pentacles, it does represent coming together, taking things to the next level. It can also represent an instability in a situation, an outcome that requires more like an outside force, right? So a higher level of degree to cope with the situation that you're in. A third party, should we say. So third party could represent legal representation, a therapist, a spiritual advisor, something like that, right? So something outside of the situation you're dealing with is needed to strengthen the bond or the situation, or to help bring clarity to that. Now, I'm leaning towards something spiritual here, because here we have the Hierophant. And so what we have is, what it feels like is the outside force is looking at what you're involved in, looking at the commitment that you've made to something, looking at tradition, looking at the institution, right? So if this is an institution in regards to a relationship, it could be the institution of marriage. If it's to do with work, then it's the rules and regulations that you're bound by. If it's looking at your own situation in regards to religion, society, what people expect of you, we've got all of that kind of social approval and this confusion going on around what you should do and what is the right thing to do. There is also this kind of big situation here that requires a lot of forgiveness. Now, when you're dealing with the spiritual realm, the number one thing that you have to have when dealing with another human being is forgiveness. Whether that person has insight, or let's say that situation has insight to what they're doing. Sometimes there's a need to be the bigger person, even though that's what you've been doing for a very long time. So there's this challenge in the present position where you're feeling quite frustrated, quite trapped. It feels like you're in this realm of like the walls are closing in on you. That's what it feels like. And it feels like something that you bought into, you kind of don't want to be a part of anymore. And it feels like, and again, here we have, right, so Spirit is bringing out the Four of Wands, right? So where the confusion is, or where the situation is something that you've built, or something that you're building, or something that you spent a lot of time and energy building. Like I said, what's coming out is relationship. What's coming out is, and that could be a relationship with a loved one, a significant other, or it could be career, but it feels more focused on relationship that you've built with someone. And so Spirit makes me feel here that here in the Four of Wands, there's this, Spirit just said total collapse, right? So there's this kind of thoughts that are going on inside of you are the disorganization, right? If you look at the organization oracle card, what we have is a number 6. 6 also represents picking up the pieces, right? So 5 represents the challenge and conflict, and 6 represents picking up the pieces. How do you create stability? How do you come back together with something that has been driven you or driving you to the edge of like you don't want to be in something anymore? And sometimes we're in a situation that you just can't walk away. It's not that easy to walk away. And the right thing isn't to walk away, right? Because there's a greater commitment here. And that's what we have in the Four of Wands. So that's your present position, is that it's a stretch to have joy in this situation. It's, you know, the harmony that's in this situation is short-lived. The coming together, the building, it feels rocky. The situation feels fragile, and it feels like it's creating an atmosphere within you where you just want to go back to the self, go back to home, go back to what you know, go back to what feels right to you, so you can have stability again within yourself. right? So that's coming up really strongly in the present position. Here in the strength, let me just kind of skip the strength for a minute and go straight into the challenge, because this is your challenge is tied into what's coming out in the present position. So first of all, I'm going to go to the challenge, and then we'll talk about what you can look forward to and the strength and all of that. So what we have here is grace in the challenge, right? So what the challenge represents is, other people in readings call it what you don't see coming. It's also things that are, challenges in everybody's life. It's in everybody's daily life, no matter what you do. Even if you're having a good day, there is something that challenges you during the day. Now, whether that be on a scale of 10 out of 10 being the greatest challenge, or 1, right, out of 10, we all have a challenge. So the challenge here is grace, right? The oracle card, grace. And so the challenge is having grace in a situation, having forgiveness in a situation, being able to build around something that, and here we have the blessing, grace, blessing, come to me to set me free, right? So there's a struggle in the situation that's allowing you to have, or you're finding it difficult to have forgiveness, to have grace, to have clarity in a situation. Because grace is when you kind of surrender and you allow grace to come in. But if the mind is in control of everything and you're not able to shift your consciousness into a higher level, because what you're dealing with on a physical level is so stressful, then grace can seem quite difficult to get to. All right, so that's a challenge. Don't worry, I'm getting to the good part in the reading, right? It is what it is, right? So right now you're going through quite a lot. Here in the Knight of Cups, in the challenge, what we have is very slow moving energy, right? We have the slowest knight in the deck. And so this grace is a challenge because it's taking a very, very long time for you, or you've been in it, Spirit makes me feel. You've been in it for a very, very long time. And you've been doing everything in your power, even putting up your guard to protect yourself. You've been doing everything you know what to do, being the bigger person, apologizing first, being chivalrous, right? Being the one filled with grace, expressing your grace, expressing your forgiveness, expressing your ability to try to work things through, right? And so what we have is this situation that lacks romance, it lacks charm, it lacks beauty, it lacks that shining knight in armor, right? The chivalry, it lacks it. So whoever you're dealing with kind of sucks it out of you. And it's difficult to follow your heart in this situation because the way that the other person is acting is very heartless at times. They're very difficult to deal with. They're a very difficult person to deal with. But what Spirit is showing me here is you may be in a situation that involves you having to stick something out because of a situation that has a long-term commitment to it. And again, usually what we're talking about is, we're talking about, are you, depending where you are in this relationship, are you going to, if you're married, are you going to stay married, right? You've made a commitment. This is talking about other situations that could involve children, could involve a higher level of responsibility like finances and home and other things that is more than, walking away from something that's making you happy, because yes, you might get a temporary relief from what's, yes, let me walk away from this, but then you bring in a whole host of other problems. So if you are married and you have children, then you have to think about, yes, if this marriage breaks up, then you have somebody else raising your child or your children, right? Because a partner never sits there and grieves. What do? They jump right back on the horse again and they bring somebody else into your children's life or your child's life that you have absolutely no say in, right? So there's other big situations in regards to what you don't see coming if you were to make that type of decision. It also is slow moving energy. So to get back your life again, is your life will collapse if you were to make this type of decision. But it doesn't show that it's going to be easily resolved just by walking away from something that's difficult or someone that's difficult. And I know that's difficult to hear in this type of situation. Some of you, Spirit makes me feel, are dealing with, a very difficult relationship where perhaps you're feeling the person wants to take things to the next level, like an engagement. There's pressure in the relationship, kind of like an ultimatum situation, and it's never good to give ultimatums. It does feel like, Gemini, you need a third party involved in this situation, such as a spiritual counselor, therapist, something like that, to give you some kind of perspective or even to give you some coping skills. So let's move on to something more positive in this reading, right? Because you already know all of that. You're already feeling all of this. This is quite challenging. Let's take a look at the strength. Oh, there's 2 cards here. Spirit is showing me. Let's take a look at the strength. So we've got the number 45. We've got dream, sweet, sleep deep. Okay. And here it says, sleep that's deep and lasts till morning, wondrous dreams for days reborn, strength. And then we have best possible decision. This goes along with, now I know why Spirit wanted me to do the challenge first, right? Best possible decision. Here in the strength, you're going to have to make the best possible decision that has really nothing to do with you. Here we have 18 and we have the number 9, right? Which means moving in a way that's within you, finding the strength within you, that you're independent and you're finding balance within you. Right now, the situation calls for you to understand that this person is not bringing you happiness, or the situation. However, you're entangled in something that requires long-term foresight, right? And so whenever we feel out of balance and someone is taking our energy, or a situation is taking our energy, it's because we don't have other things in our life that's bringing us into balance, right? So we don't have other things that are making us happy. So it's really, really important in your strength position, you get the kind of sleep that you need, right? So that could mean going to your healthcare provider if you're not sleeping, if you're worrying, and really starting to get the sleep that you need, because it's in that sleep that you will have healing, right? Spirit does make me feel that you're going to reach out to somebody professional that will allow you to get the sleep that you need. And when you get restful sleep, you'll be able to make clearer decisions, and you'll be able to make the best possible decision. Spirit also makes me feel here, Artemis, goddess of the bow, help me see what I must know, right? So it does feel like with this, you will get some type of respite, right? You're going to get some type of rest and relief from this. It is going to come, but it is going to come in you sorting out and organizing your sleep, bringing into balance your appetite, bringing into balance your health, bringing into balance, things like if you've let go working out, if you've let go eating properly, if you've let go sleeping properly. It's getting those fundamental functions back, because your host, right, is the brain. Without the brain is hosting the body. Without the body being in alignment, the mind cannot do what it needs to do in a difficult situation, right? One thing leads to another and everything goes out of balance. So first, bring back the fundamentals into balance. And even though it's difficult, even though it's hard to find the energy, what it shows here is that you are going to find the energy within sleeping properly, all right? So once you get that restful sleep, Spirit makes me feel like 1 week. That's interesting, right? So 1 week of peaceful sleep, and if you can get 7 days of peaceful sleep, what you will find after that week is that you're able to have choices. And here we see you making choices in the strength position that bring back balance into your life. So what we have here is some fun, some naughtiness, right? Some stuff that will bring back the energy into you, right? So it may not be politically correct. And it may not be something that you normally do with all this responsibility that you have in your life, but it's fun and it's frivolous, and it's something that you need to spend time engaging in, because what it's showing here is that you've put too much energy, or the balance is tipped in this situation where all the energy is going outside of you, but none is being recharged. You're not recharging your batteries. So what it shows here in the strength position is that you are going to do that. You are, once you have this rest of 7 days, and here we have the number 7 again. And so we see here that 7 different things are going to come into your life, right? Think about the number 7. Think about not your responsibility, not the things that bring you, the things that you're tied into. So let's say it's matrimony. Let's say it's a child, right? Everybody says, well, their child brings them joy. Well, a child has a lot of responsibility and they have a lot of needs. And yes, you love them, and yes, they're fun. And but that's not what I'm talking about, right? What I'm talking about is going out with your girlfriends or your guy friends, or going out and with the things that used to inspire you, reading and going on a little vacation, or going on a tiny little shopping spree and treating yourself to one item, or doing something that is you, right? And nothing to do with those responsibilities of being a mother or a father, or being an employee, or being a wife or a husband, right? We're talking about you, the human being, the human spirit that you are. So in your strength energy, I see you looking at that and looking at all your choices here, and dreaming about that and fantasizing about that and having victory in that. So that looks like quite looks like fun. Here in the strength energy, it looks like you begin to protect yourself in regards to defensive energy that's coming at you. So we see you here gaining some strength in regards to choosing your battles, choosing your words extremely wisely, and not reacting. So what we have here is you building a stronger sense of self, a stronger sense of who you are, getting back to who you are, and not necessarily having to walk away from a situation that you are fully committed to, right? So what we have here in the 9 of Wands is independence, right? We have you being independent. We have you finding the courage and the persistence. Your faith is being tested for sure. Resilience is being tested, but you're putting up your boundaries and you're going to take a stand. You're gearing for the person around you, whoever you're dealing with, is very, I would tend to say, if I could be so bold, is that this person is going through something quite within their own emotional state, that because when you're doing that, you're usually going through some type of depression where you're pulling on others, right? You're pulling heavily on others. Now, some people tend to take advantage of that, right? We take advantage of those that are closest to us, right? Because we can't take it out on a boss. We can't take it out on our friends. So sometimes we take it out on the people closest to us, right? So putting up your boundaries, you're not responsible for somebody else's happiness. I mean, you are if it's your child, and your child is under the age of 18 and they need you to be happy, right? So they need you to be balanced. They need you to have a sense of self. So whatever, if this is a partner that's being defensive, very defensive themselves, I see you gaining independence in that, and being strong in that, and being able to stand your ground and turn your back to their defensiveness and just focus on yourself. Here in the strength energy, beautiful, we have the High Priestess, right? So we have Gemini coming back into that very powerful sacred energy that is Gemini. Now, Gemini is one of those signs, because of your duality, you have ability to create out of nothing. You have the ability to create something that is very difficult in a situation, and you have the empowerment and the wisdom to reach back into your spirituality. That is your duality. Your duality is your physical life and your spiritual life. So what I have coming up here in the strength position is your intuition coming back very, very strong after this 7-day rest, where you get your 7 days of really focused sleep and focusing on your nutrition and working out and relaxation and all of that. And here we have what comes at the end of that is intuition. sacred space, knowledge, the subconscious coming forward and being able to guide and aid your decisions, divine intervention, the femininity coming out of you, right? So that nurturing, that ability to trust yourself, and that sensitivity coming out and working for you rather than against you. And we have your high morals coming out, your integrity coming out, right? So here you're serving you instead of the situation that's draining you. Okay, so that's really good in the strength. So let's take a look at the outcome. Here we have two cards that came out for your oracle. We have love, and it was kind of like this one where it was sitting in the back here. So we have love, and what was sitting in the back of it is strength. Okay, so let's take a look at your outcome. What we have is Aphrodite, I call to thee to bring a true love here to me. And then we have strength. Strength, stability in this hour, endurance, stamina, I empower, right? So again, what I show is in this situation, I show the need for those of you that can resonate with a situation that requires a lot of commitment, resilience, empowerment. I see you sticking with the situation, right? It is, sometimes it's really hard to work with people when they're being really difficult, especially when you're married or very, very much committed to somebody. That's very, very difficult. But it really is important to understand that your love comes out, your strength, excuse me, comes out in the outcome here. We have the number one, which is you, right? Number one is relying on the self. Number one is represents God also. Here we have the number 34, which represents 7. Again, we have these choices coming out in the outcome, right? So you will begin to look at the choices that you have, and you will begin to bring in a lot of balance, a lot of strength. You'll find in that stability. You'll find that you're able to empower yourself with finding yourself, right? So that's coming out in the outcome. Here, what we have is, I'm not going to dwell on this very much. Here in the outcome, this situation in this relationship is not going to change. It's going to keep cycling. We have the 10 of Cups in the reverse. We have the Temperance card in the reverse, right? So that's the cycling of the situation constantly. And that we have the Queen of Cups in the reverse. So this person is not changing, right? So what do you do when someone doesn't change, right? Here we have you not dwelling anymore on the fact that this situation is not going to change. Of course, you have to have hope and faith in a situation, but if you're committed to a situation long term, it's really important that you understand and find the gratitude, even though it's difficult, right? So what we have you doing is no longer dwelling on what you don't have. What we have is acceptance, moving on, finding peace in the situation, understanding that it's going to cause personal setbacks, and a chance for self-forgiveness, right? So we have you, again, focused on just letting go what you can't control, right? Understanding that this situation's going to keep cycling. And if you understand that a situation's going to keep cycling, then you can be prepared for it, right? If you keep thinking it's going to change, or next time it's going to change, or next time you'll be able to cope with it differently, that's not going to help. This is where a third party situation is very important. And what I mean by that is a therapist, a spiritual counselor, somebody to help you clear the forest from the trees, right? So here we see you doing that, right? Accepting that the situation is what it is, but you can find strength in that, because what we have is the outcome. So what we have is passion. Here you find your passion again. Here you stand your ground. Now here what we have is Spirit making me feel that you're turning away from this person in this situation to give you love, to give you communication, to fulfill your needs. We have you turning away, not walking away, turning away, right? And so there's a difference in that, because I have, being a clinical psychologist working in clinical psychology for the past 30 years, I have seen people that I thought quite honestly, that they really needed to walk away from a situation because it is so demoralizing. And I've seen people turn around a situation single-handedly where the person is draining them, where they're literally just causing so much chaos in their life and making them so unhappy. And I've seen these people, the partner who come to me, find this strength, find this resilience, find this empowerment, and before you know it, because they've become happy, it turns the whole situation around, because they're not looking to that person anymore to fulfill their happiness. And they're understanding that if they continue to look in that direction for that source of happiness, it's going to continuously drain them and make them feel unloved. Right? So what we have here is you understanding that your passion, your power, who you are is not representative of how this person acts towards you. You are independent of that. So I see you coming forward here, turning your back to them. Page of Wands. And what was so difficult at the beginning of this reading, so challenging, seems like a mountain, now seems like a small hill that you can step over and move past, right? So what we have is you being inspired, ideas, discovery, limitless potential, free spirit, exploration, excitement, and freedom. So that is a very beautiful outcome for a very tough situation. What we have here, last card, is 8 of Wands in the reverse. So what we have is holding off communicating with this person, you turning your back on trying to communicate with them, trying to make them see sense, trying to fix the situation, and understanding it's just kind of like this black hole that you keep putting energy in, right? So Spirit draws me back in here. Now they want one more card for you, Gemini. Spirit, what else do you want in the outcome here? Thank you. There we go. Thanks so much, Spirit. What we have here is the Hanged Man. And we have resistance to this kind of imperfection that's in the relationship, this fear of self-sacrifice and lack of control. And we have you understanding that you are completely in control, that delays that have been in this situation are created really in the mind, right? Because it's perspective, right? The Hanged Man is about understanding perspective. The Hanged Man is understanding that what is needed is to surrender and let go, that the situation is, the power is within you, not within the person to change. So Gemini, for those of you that are interested, I am a life coach. And for some of you that are really struggling with this, I do offer private life coaching. So you can reach out to me via howlovetarot@gmail.com. Please do not contact me any other way. That is the only way to contact me. Please beware of scams. If you want a reading, I would recommend that you get a personal reading if you're really struggling with this situation. But to be honest, in a situation like this, I really recommend if you want to reach out to me for life coaching, because this is a very difficult situation that you're dealing with. And we can talk about your situation, what is needed, how many sessions you would need, and you can make a decision from there. Gemini, I know this is tough. Hang in there. Keep your head above water. It is going to be okay in the end. Spirit does show that here in the Page of Wands. You are going to find your passion again. Please hit like, subscribe, hit the bell button, and I will speak to you soon, Gemini.